Feels good, doesn't it? Being more than human. But there's a price. Do you know what it is?
All this time, we've been afraid of them, but I think they should be afraid of us.
What is up, everybody? Jeremy Icenfire here, and welcome to the channel. With episode 7 of Alien Earth in the books, we now look ahead to the season 1 finale, episode 8, entitled The Real Monsters. And based on the trailer, it looks like things are coming to their final conclusion, with many of our storylines converging into one, as we find out once and for all what the fate of our main characters is going to be. Will Wendy and the hybrids get their freedom? Will Kirsch and Marorrow come to one final confrontation? And what exactly is going to happen between Boy and the T.O. Celis? The episode 8 trailer starts off with a shot of Marorrow inside one of the cells, with his face all black and bruised, as he states, "It feels good to be more than human, but it comes with a price."
Feels good, doesn't it? Being more than human. But there's a price. Do you know what it is?
And up until this point, there has been a lot of speculation as to how Marorrow got his black eye in the first place, with there being a few different possibilities to consider. One of which being Marorrow coming into contact with the T.O. Celis somehow. But considering where episode 7 ended, with Marorrow getting locked up in the cell and the T.O. Celis still being inside the sheep, I get the feeling that this is not going to be the case. Unless, of course, Boy is planning on using Marorrow for his little experiment. In episode 7, we saw that Boy is planning on putting the T.O. Celis inside a human body, in hopes of speaking with it. And seeing as there aren't a whole lot of human characters on Alien Earth, Marorrow could be a possibility. And then, of course, there's also this other shot from a previous trailer that shows Nibs covered in blood as she is seemingly kneeling over something or someone inside one of the cells, leading some to believe that she is kneeling over Marorrow in this scene, especially when looking at some of the earlier trailers that shows Marorrow lying on the floor of one of these same cells. And then, of course, there's also the possibility that the black and bruised eye is simply a byproduct of the beating that he was given at the hands of the Prodigy soldiers at the end of episode 7, which could in turn also explain why we see the shot of him lying on the floor in the middle of the cell as well. After Kirsch springs his master plan and captures Marorrow, we see the Prodigy soldiers proceed to start beating him, which could easily have resulted in his black eye. And although that is certainly not the most exciting explanation for his black eye, it seems to be the most likely one. We also hear that little bit of dialogue from Marorrow in this scene as well, talking to potentially one of the hybrids or whoever else is in that cell with him, stating that it feels good to be more than human, but it comes at a price. A price that we have certainly seen Wendy and the rest of the hybrids pay throughout the season, as they are slowly drifting further and further from their humanity and embracing their synthetic life more and more. Wendy in particular. Whatever happens to be the case, I am definitely looking forward to seeing these scenes inside the cells. But next, the trailer continues with a shot of Wendy standing up in the cell with the hybrids behind her. At the end of episode 7, we saw Wendy, Joe, and Nibs attempt to make their escape, only to unfortunately run right into a trap laid by Prodigy. One thing that's interesting, however, is how Curly seems to be locked up in the cell along with them. And seeing as she didn't go along with the escape attempt, I'm wondering why that is, unless Boy just thought it was safer to keep all the hybrids in one place. But next, the trailer continues with a shot of what appears to be Arthur's dead body washing up on shore. Thanks to the manipulation of Slightly at the hands of Marorrow, Arthur came to an unfortunate end during episode 7, and it should be interesting to see what happens if Dr. Dame discovers his body, or finds out that he is indeed dead. But next, the trailer continues with a scene between Joe and Wendy.
We're food to them.
No, you're food to them.
And here we see Joe trying to convince Wendy that the xenomorphs simply see us as food, with Wendy correcting him and reminding him that she is no longer human herself, another sign that she is embracing her hybrid nature. Throughout the season, we have seen Wendy and some of the other hybrids slowly come to terms with the fact that they are no longer fully human. And by the end of episode 7, Wendy seems to be fully embracing her synthetic nature at this point, which seems to be worrying Joe more and more. With Wendy witnessing her human grave in episode 7, it almost felt like a symbolic representation of her putting her human life to rest and embracing her synthetic life. And if nothing else, it should be interesting to see if Wendy continues to drift further from her humanity in the finale, or if she ends up rediscovering it. We also see an interesting shot of what appears to be the xenomorph racing in the jungle towards the compound, with Wendy being held captive at the end of episode 7, and with her being in such good control of the xenomorph, I wouldn't be surprised if she summons it to help them escape. And while I'm not a huge fan of the xenomorph attack dog theme they have going on, it has at least been an effective tool for Wendy to utilize. But next, we see a shot of Dr. Dame looking at an old video of Wendy from when she was still human, asking if we'll be okay, which most likely is the human Wendy referring to if they'll be okay during the hybrid transformation. It definitely seems like Dr. Dame has been struggling to maintain that balance of professional scientist and the motherly figure she seems to be playing to the hybrids. And I certainly get the feeling that she is going to come to the realization that she cares a lot more for these children than she does about working at Prodigy. But next we get an interesting shot of Boy standing in a hallway turning around looking at something.
We'll be okay, won't we? Won't we?
And based on the final shot in the episode 8 trailer of a xenomorph attacking some of the Prodigy soldiers in seemingly what appears to be the same hallway, I wouldn't be surprised if Boy is seeing the xenomorph come for them. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how Boy's storyline comes to a conclusion at the end of the season. There has, of course, been a lot of foreshadowing for Boy and the T.O. Celis potentially merging at some point. Will Boy finally find that one debate that he has been searching for his whole life? Or will he come to an unfortunate end? But next, we get perhaps one of the most intriguing shots in the entire trailer, of some of the Prodigy soldiers standing in one of the labs, as we see something crawling on the wall behind them, which appears to be our first look at the plant creature in action, as based on the shape of it, it certainly doesn't look like a xenomorph, which could also give us our answer as to how the plant-like creature ended up in the hallway at the beginning of the season, as it appears to be capable of moving. And based on one of the other shots that we have gotten in previous Alien Earth trailers, it looks like it is getting ready to attack one of these soldiers, as we see an interesting shot of the plant-like creature seemingly opening up as it is feeding. And based on the shape of what it's feeding on, it certainly looks an awful lot like a human head. And based on the data from the Imagino, we know that this plant-like creature is referred to as Dplumare, with the data also stating that the plant-like creature traps its victims inside, as its prey suffers from asphyxiation, as it is then devoured by the creature. And I am definitely looking forward to finally seeing Dplumare in action. I just hope it doesn't venture too far into Little Shop of Horrors territory.
Feed me, Carbon! Feed me now!
I can't!
But next, the trailer continues with a shot of Smee and Slightly walking down the hallway, followed by a shot of Kirsch turning around and shooting at something in the lab. Which, of course, begs the question, just who or what is he firing at? Did one of the other creatures potentially get loose somehow again? Or did Wendy's xenomorph potentially make its way into the facility? Or could this also be a glimpse of the final confrontation between Kirsch and Marorrow? Does Marorrow potentially escape from his cell and come looking for Kirsch? After all, at the end of episode 7, when Marorrow is taken captive, he tells Kirsch that this isn't over, alluding to the possibility of one final encounter between these two characters. Whatever happens to be the case, one final confrontation between Marorrow and Kirsch would certainly be interesting to see. But next, the trailer ends with an interesting piece of dialogue from Wendy.
All this time, we've been afraid of them. But I think they should be afraid of us.
It looks like Wendy is finally coming to the realization that they shouldn't be afraid of Boy or Prodigy at all, but in fact Boy should be afraid of them, as we see a shot of Boy monitoring Wendy and the other hybrids in the cell, and one final shot of the xenomorph attacking some of the Prodigy soldiers in what appears to be the same hallway that Boy was in earlier in the trailer. And we are certainly noticing a night and day difference between the hybrids at the beginning of the season compared to now at the finale. Towards the beginning, Wendy in particular seemed to hold Boy in some kind of reverence, as she was very grateful that he not only saved her life, but gave her this synthetic body. But as the season continued to progress, Wendy started to see Boy for who he is more and more, to now her believing that her and the hybrids are not safe under his care. Things have certainly come full circle since the beginning of the season, and it certainly looks like everything is coming to a head in this upcoming finale. But there we have it, folks. The season finale of Alien Earth is fast approaching. and I get the feeling a lot of our characters are not going to make it out unscathed. But that is going to do it for our Episode 8 trailer breakdown, and definitely leave your thoughts and comments down below. How do you think Season 1 is ultimately going to end? And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like on your way out and consider subscribing to stay up to date on all of our upcoming content. And be sure to come and join us Tuesday night after the finale for a live after-show discussion. And as always, I want to give a big thank you to everybody out there for watching, and a huge thank you to all the channel members, and we will see you on the next one.